Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. Alright, our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Getting Kicked Out of My Daughter's Soccer Game? My daughter plays soccer and is very tall for her age, as well as being a little heavier. Because of this, the referees are quicker to foul her than other girls. She'll get fouled and another girl will do the exact same thing and not be penalized. She's very much a people pleaser and can be prone to letting people walk all over her, while I am quite the opposite. It's very frustrating to see your child being treated unfairly because of their size, and I tend to loudly vocalize while I'm watching her play. I try to be civil because my daughter says my yelling embarrasses her, but I will admit that sometimes I can be profane. It's gotten to the point where the other parents refuse to sit next to me. When my other daughter comes, she refuses to be seen with me. That should tell you something. At her last game, she kept getting in trouble for no reason, and I could tell she was becoming upset. I started raising my voice and asking the ref why he wasn't telling the other girls the same thing, and he ignored me. I ended up getting kicked out because a pregnant woman claimed that she was having Braxton Hicks because of my screaming, and I was intimidating one of the refs. After the game was over, my daughter said that I humiliated her, and that one of the teachers said I wouldn't be allowed in the building for a while, which is a complete abuse of power. My wife called me obnoxious and rude. Am I a jerk for trying to stand up for her when she wouldn't stand up for herself? So, everyone thinks that you're a jerk, and you're the only person who thinks that you're not being a jerk. None of the parents sit next to you. You were yelling so loudly and obnoxiously that you started giving a pregnant woman contractions. And you don't see here at all how you might be the jerk. Don't heckle people. Don't heckle the coaches. Don't heckle the referees. Come on, man. Come on. You are that dad. They make movies about people like you, and they make movies about you for a reason. Yes, you're being entitled. No, stop arguing with people. Your daughter is... I know you think your daughter's being treated unfairly, but there's a chance that your daughter isn't, and it's just that you are more likely seeing your daughter get in trouble because that's what you're tuning into. I don't know. I think that you're in the wrong here, and I think that you need to kind of tone it back a little bit. All right, I think today is a comments day because it's Monday, so I will read a few comments. You're the jerk. When every single person around you tells you you are being a jerk, you're probably being a jerk. Exactly what I was going to say. I don't know why OP is even asking us. He won't listen. Everyone else in his life says, why should a bunch of strangers on the internet make a difference? That is a very fair point. You're the jerk. Your daughter has told you it embarrasses her, and you continue to do this, and this risks your daughter quitting the sport. No matter how well-meaning you are destroying the fun game for your child. Not the refs, not other players, you. Stop it, you are not impressing anyone. This is not the World Cup, and your daughter has told you flat out not to do this. Why are you ignoring her? Besides, the ref are generally volunteered/kids themselves, so back off. Yeah, you're the jerk. I think you know that, but what you probably don't realize is that your overbearing and out-of-control personality is absolutely contributing to the personality trait in your daughter that you are hoping to reverse. A loud, profane father who is ejected from children's sporting events and banned from entering the school is a figure that moves the air out of a home and has less assertive children scrambling to please him to prevent a scene. If you want your child to grow up to be a people-pleasing, codependent victim, keep acting just as you are. If you want her to be a more confident, self-assured person, spend every waking moment learning to be a completely different man. That's an interesting take. You know, I didn't actually consider it from that point of view, and I think that's a very valid thing to bring up, that his personality may be a major factor on why she's acting this way, why she has confidence issues and whatnot. If she's constantly embarrassed by her father, and then some of the kids in school are making fun of her, then this may be kind of a self-feeding type of problem. So it's great that he's involved with her sports. It's not so great the way he's acting. This next one is going to be fun. Am I a jerk for giving a low feedback score because the financial service representative was dressed casually? Hey all. Like many of you, I, a 24-year-old male, have accounts at multiple financial institutes, depending on the investment products and banking packages they offer. I have a primary credit union I deal with, and some others. I was at one of these secondary credit unions and was asked to fill out a feedback form after my visit. I received an email. The service was normal, nothing special, but the financial service person handling my file, a female in her late 20s, maybe early 30s, in case anyone was wondering, was wearing a hoodie and some yoga pants. But business casual would have been nice. Even smart casual would have been great. A hoodie and yoga pants, though, is excessively casual and not office wear, especially for a customer-facing job. I always wore long-sleeve dress shirts and dress pants at every office job that I had. For customer-facing ones, I had to wear a tie as well. So I gave her a lower than normal rating, 6 out of 10, and indicated my issue with the attire of the staff. I mentioned this to my friend, a 23-year-old male, who said that I shouldn't have done it, and it's irrelevant what they wear, and it's not my job to set company policy. I stated that there is a certain level of professionalism one expects from banking staff. Now, if they had worn, say, dark blue jeans and a bank-branded polo, I wouldn't have docked them for it, even if I personally felt it was too casual for a bank. But a hoodie and yoga pants is too much on any objective level for a financial institution. Am I a jerk? Oh my goodness gracious. How many of you, dear viewer, how many of you have multiple bank accounts across multiple financial institutions? He is so relatable. I know we all do. We're all just rich here. I love this so much. Like many of you, I have multiple accounts across multiple financial institutions. All right. Yes, don't act like a pretentious jerk. Not everyone wants to wear button-up suits and ties, especially in these days when, probably there's a relaxed business code. Probably what's happening here is the bank is being pretty lenient on its workers given the situations around the world. They're probably being like, if you just come in, we'll be happy. Don't be like this. Don't be this person who complains about what other people wear. Does it really matter? Is it going to affect your banking service that much that the person wears something more professional? I don't know. I just think that professional attire is overrated, and this kind of reminds me of the scene from The Big Lebowski where the dude's like, "You're not wrong, Walter, but you're a jerk." In case anyone has seen The Big Lebowski. Yes, in a very, very technical sense, you're right. They should have worn more professional clothes. But the world's in a crisis right now, and if your biggest concern is what the bank teller is wearing, then really, I don't know. I just don't even have any words for this. Don't be this person. Don't harass the poor person who has to work through a pandemic because you don't think they're dressing professionally enough in an outward-facing job. I don't know. You're the jerk, not for giving your opinion, but for giving such a low score when their outfit made no difference to the service. Yeah. You're the jerk. Her attire had no impact on your service. Since you've been in so many times and she's worn the same thing, I doubt that it's against company policy. Yeah, very fair point. So it seems like pretty much everyone's unanimous on this one, saying that as long as they're dressed and impact their service, then there was no problem. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my ex-wife she didn't have to make a scene? So my daughter said for her 15th birthday that she wanted to go shopping with both my ex-wife, a 51-year-old female, and me, a 53-year-old male, and pick out a camel coat because she wanted one for a long time. My current wife, a 31-year-old female, and our son, a 2-year-old male, happened to be there because my wife wanted to buy stuff in the department store we were going to, but she drove herself and our son in a different car. A very young saleswoman that seemed new comes out and starts helping my daughter out. My ex-wife is standing pretty far away, and my current wife was nearby looking at some winter coats with our son. My daughter finds a coat that she really likes and asks what I think. I tell her that I like whatever she likes, and at this point, she's looking at herself in the mirror. The sales lady gestures towards my ex and says, "Why don't you go show Grandma and see what she thinks?" My ex was within earshot and very visibly stiffens at the remark. My daughter just kind of looked shocked, and her stepmom interjects and says, "Oh no, I'm her mom. She's the mom." The saleswoman, who is very clearly embarrassed and flustered, and the first thing she does is sputter out to my current wife, "I thought you were a bit too young to have a teenager." And then she turns to my ex-wife and says very apologetically, "I'm sorry, ma'am," and makes an excuse and pretty much backs away from all of us. My ex-wife's face turns red, and when my daughter tried to speak to my ex-wife, she said, "Excuse me for a minute, I'll be right back," and then she rushed out of the store. My daughter ended up not buying anything, and when my ex-wife came back, my daughter said she'd rather go home and have her birthday cake. On the ride back to my ex-wife's place, my ex-wife muttered that she hoped that the salesgirl was new because she clearly didn't know how to deal with customers. I didn't think it was fair for my ex-wife to say rude things about somebody who just made an innocent mistake and still holding a grudge over a stupid comment. When our daughter was out of earshot, I told her that she didn't have to ruin the day by leaving the store, and that I've been mistaken for somebody's brother that I looked 0% like, and somebody even asked if I was from Mexico when I'm not. She started crying and saying that getting mistaken for a Mexican when you're actually Italian and Spanish is not the same thing as being called someone's grandmother, and how dare I fault her for her reaction. She then said sarcastically, "Thanks again for helping the world remind me how gracefully I'm aging." Am I the jerk? I was just defending this poor girl who clearly spoke her mind. It sounds like you and your ex-wife still have a rather good relationship all in all. It doesn't sound like it's hostile, especially since you two are driving in the same car. And so I think realistically she was venting and she probably wanted your support. And I think that you probably said the wrong thing here, and I think you should have lended her support and then, reassured her that it was just a matter of her just getting confused. It's not an easy situation. I think this one's kind of tricky, and I think that there's a lot of nuance here on how to handle something like this. But I certainly don't think you did yourself any favors with telling her to not be upset. She was upset, and people aren't just going to be able to turn off. She's not going to be like, "Oh, you're right. There's nothing to be upset about here. How silly of me to have an emotional response to something. Thank you for being so rational and injecting rationality in here." People generally don't work on that kind of mode. They aren't just going to be grateful for you saying, "Oh, don't worry about this." Aging is a really hard thing, and it's really hard for people who, place a lot of value on how they look to age. No one wants to get old, and no one wants to look old, and no one wants to be reminded that they look old. And so it was a bit insensitive to basically tell her, "Oh, don't worry about this," when this is clearly something she does worry about. I think there needs to be a little bit more context in how you two ended up breaking up. Did you cheat on her and, get married to this much younger person? Because if you did, then she may feel like that was part of the reason why you left her. She might even just feel that in general with you being attached to someone who's much younger. Again, this is a sensitive topic for her, and just telling her to stop, feeling a certain way, I think was insensitive. I'm sorry, but you're the jerk. First of all, your ex is obviously going to be insecure about the fact that you dumped her and married someone who is 20 years younger. Getting called grandma while out with you and your new family is like a slap in the face. How do you not understand that and have no idea? It was meant to be a nice shopping trip for your daughter. She specifically asked for you and her mom. Whether or not that's okay is irrelevant. You agreed to the trip. Then your new wife is there. Obviously not as far away as you thought, since the sales assistant knew that she was with you. That was a jerk move. She could have gone shopping anytime. Yeah, I mean, that brings up a really good point. This isn't a sitcom where situational comedies happen by accident. It seems a little suspicious that she showed up. Man, I thought making a scene would have been screaming and throwing things, not being humiliated and rushing away to get yourself under control. That is the opposite of making a scene. This guy is such a jerk for not realizing that this would be a sensitive subject for her after he clearly left her for a younger woman. You're the jerk. Your ex-wife was venting. It didn't hurt the salesgirl in any way, and it made your ex-wife feel better to hope that the salesgirl was new. No comment from you was needed. You just made someone who was already feeling bad feel worse. I was fully expecting to hear that she tried to get her fired when I saw the title. Yeah, I mean, the title is super misleading here. This woman didn't throw a fit. She didn't throw a temper tantrum. She just felt bad and left and to collect herself. So, yeah. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you didn't, consider giving me a thumbs down. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Howdy folks, I'm Brian, and here's some Reddit. And here's me bashing the microphone.